All right, welcome to another race. This is the second race of the year. We are in the middle of a pretty big racing block. We have Roger Millikan coming up this Sunday. This is the Major Motion King and Queen of Crit that happened last Sunday, and then 2 weeks before that we had CBR1. So this is the Cat 4-5 category, really relatively early in the morning. Driving into this, I actually was driving into fog, so I was a little worried that the course would be wet. Luckily, that wasn't the case. So yeah, I'll be going through this, talking a little bit about who is in this race, and then jumping pretty much just to the end of the race. It was a pretty straightforward race. On the left there, you see Go Fast making a move towards the front and essentially attacking the field. They did that the whole race. Right in front of me is Crit Wit. He also summed this up in his video. Shout out to him. That was an awesome video. But yeah, Go Fast essentially just kept launching attacks, coming back to the field, launching another one. And then they set up their sprinter, Alex Rodriguez, for the win, which, no surprise, Alex is a really strong rider. And I imagine he'll probably get a couple more wins here if he stays in this 4-5 category. All right, so let's jump a little bit. So we got the major motion guys right in front of me, including Everett, which is the rider directly in front of me. He ended up finishing third. Going into this race, I did say to myself, try to mark Everett. um, but I'm well aware if I'm behind him in a sprint, there's no way. Like, he's just gonna walk away from me. He's really strong. He's a natural sprinter. So this was just me kind of playing a game. How long can I stay in his wheel? And it lasted right about now. Because you can see there's a crash there on the right side. Sean went left, Ray went left, some cones came down. I don't think that led to disqualifications in this course, but I know CBR would usually call that a DQ. So I'm rushing. I was like, let me put some power down. Let me get back on Everett's wheel. I didn't lose that much. And now we jump forward, and I'm nowhere near Everett's wheel. They're kind of on the right-hand side at this point in the race. And as you remember from my race recap of CBR1, I have this, like, fear of being on the inside. So I'm out here on the outside. But I actually found myself towards the front of the race by just keeping the power consistent, and the peloton slowed down significantly when someone was off the front here. I'm not sure who it is. I can't tell if it's actually Go Fast again or not, but someone was off the front. You can see them, little dot up there, not too far away, keeping him in sight. So I decided to just kind of hang out here for a little while. And you can see, again, staying on the left and the outside, being the furthest rider on the outside means that you will lose position. Like, you will. People are going to come on your inside, and that's just going to happen. So that's something I'm going to continue working on. And then there's other moments where it actually helps you out because guys like Ray have a lot of power, and he's making a move here on the left-hand side, completely on the outside, solo. It's like, all right, cool. I'll just jump on and see how much further we can go. We went from like about 20, maybe even 30-ish wheels back, going into turn 3, and now we're all the way up here. So shout out to Ray. I didn't ask him to do this. I don't think he intentionally brought me up, but appreciate the move nonetheless. There's another attack going off the front. I think that's Endure. Ray's putting his hands up. I think that's it for him. This is going into 2 to go, and there's the Go Fast train that ultimately wins the race. All right, so jumping ahead once again, this is now 1 to go. Nothing really big happened during that last lap, except for the fact that I just lost all the positions that Ray handed to me on a nice plate. And here I am once again towards the back of the field, and this is pretty much where I finished my race. This Pat 605 rider, I finished pretty much behind him. But let's just watch this and see what I could have done differently. Obviously, the first thing is I shouldn't be back here if I want to compete for a podium or even a top 10. This is too far back. But the thing that I'm really starting to identify is courses with like a downhill. I for some reason get this like false confidence that I can just catch up to the peloton at the bottom of the hill because I don't like braking in corners, and for some reason I think everyone else does, but they don't, especially not in turn 3, which is at the bottom of this very false flat downhill. So the speed really goes, like, just increases significantly here. And in my mind, I'm just like, well, I'm out of the race. Let me just conserve a little bit of energy and see if I can sprint around some guys. But realistically, you don't really want to be sprinting for 20th. It's not safe. I tend to try and avoid it. I think I ended up finishing 27th because I don't like doing that. And you'll see exactly what I mean as we get towards the finish. Um, yeah, I'm not making any ground here, getting passed up by some guys. But the field did split up here. This is pretty much the front half, and I'm the last of the front half. And then behind me, there's a gap between the second half. But yeah, I decided to launch a sprint. I keep it completely to myself. I'm nowhere in the field. There's a lot of people redlined, see people going backwards, and I don't want to be mixed into that. So I just come out to the right hand side, do my own little sprint, come back in because of the barriers, really slight maneuver, and that's it. Race over. 27th or 28th.